Hey, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on these two bad boys right here. It's kind of interesting actually that they released the 808-3 along with the 808-3 Ultra damn near at the same time. So you can pick or choose whichever one you want over at wayofwade.com right now, which is their US site by the way. If you're ever having trouble finding their products, and by they I mean the Wade brand, go to wayofwade.com. It's the US site. It's where you get them from. But basically we've got the Wade 808-3 right here, and then they automatically dropped the Ultra one as well. I think there was like V2s of the last one. They had like inner sleeves that were Kobe-ish. They were very reminiscent of the Kobe 7s. The drop-ins that had the attached ankle collar thing. I did not like any of the updates that they did. I thought that the 808-2 and the 808-2 Ultras were cool, basically because it was a beast of a shoe, and then they, like what is what's Gohan? You know what I mean?
Super Saiyan?
Well, so like you got, the regular one was like the Super Saiyan mode, and then Gohan's got like some new...
Oh, the God version?
I don't know if it's, what's the gray hair? Is that Beast mode? The Ultra was kind of like the beast mode version of what was already kind of like a beast of a shoe. And then these guys right here, I actually kind of feel the opposite. I feel like the Ultra is not quite as good as this one. So if you wanted to save some money, go with the regular one, and we'll talk about why right after a quick word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is the good folks over at Sole Premise. Sole Premise wanted us to let you guys know that they actually have a warehouse sale. It's part of their Labor Day sale that is just kind of extended all the way until right now. So if you wanted to save a ton of money on their quality products, they got all kinds of bags from duffels to carry-ons to backpacks to large backpacks. They all carry shoes. There's the sports bag as well. So if you hoop and you wanted to stuff multiple shoes in that bag, I stuff at least 2 pairs plus a basketball, plus my water, plus my gum, plus a basketball pump. Yes, I bring lots of crap. I also have to bring tape and some braces because you never know if you're gonna roll an ankle. But either way, if you wanted to grab something from Sole Premise and kind of check out their products, now would be a great time because it'll save you a lot of money. On top of that, if you use our direct link down below in the description box and our promo code, which you can see on the screen right here, you might be able to save just a little bit more. And with that being said, between these two shoes right here, we got the 808-3 and the Ultra version. I really do think that the regular model is a little more superior. It's quite interesting actually, especially because the things that they've done to this one, and by this one I mean the Ultra, they basically just slapped some extra carbon fiber on it. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a ton of cool stuff. It's just enough to be like, those are a little bit more expensive. And I think that that's cool because if you really need that stuff, then obviously like it's gonna be here for you. But in my personal opinion, this one right here, though, just the regular 808 just feels like solid ass shoe. It comes in under 150. I think it's like 119 retail. So there's really no need to spend the 149 or 59, whatever these cost, you know? What they do offer though, as far as the Ultra model is concerned, is some extremely grippy rubber right here. They did this really well in the last model, the 808-2s, and I talk about like all versions, where the rubber and the grip was just amazing. So this stuff right here is similar. It's gonna grip just as nicely. This is what they're calling their Tough OS outsole. I really wish that they would change their name to just Tough AS, like Tough Edge.
I get it.
I think it'd be cool. So yeah, the funny thing though is that when you compare this outsole right here to this one, I don't know if they mixed up product descriptions, but it's the 808 regulars that feels like the Tough, what I'm gonna just call AS. This feels tough as It's extremely grip, I mean, come on, dude. It's like trying to rip my skin off. Can you imagine what it's gonna do to a hardwood floor or to an outside court?
Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared.
That is part of the good news though with either model. You're gonna be good to go either way, whether you play indoor primarily or outdoor primarily. Chinese branded shoes are made for outdoor play. Luckily for them, they're also really starting to put their shoes on multiple of their professional athletes over there. So they have been making them for kind of like that cross court thing. So you can use them indoors, you can use them outdoors, but outdoors is kind of like where it's at. Now again, the Ultra features carbon fiber, whereas the regular 808-3 just does not. So we've got a carbon fiber midfoot plate, and then we've got carbon fiber at the heel. This one right here, obviously it's gonna be good for heel containment and everything, lateral moves, especially strong ones. Very reminiscent of the Kobe 9s, both the EM and the Elite or whatever, where they had the, actually I have them right here. Where you had the little carbon fiber clips and stuff like that on the midsoles. I think that that's a good move. But this one at the midfoot feels real flimsy. Like I can actually, there's no midsole in here right now, and I can just squeeze it like with my hand. So you shouldn't be able to do that with carbon fiber. I don't know if it's just because it's a tiny plate. That's something where like if I was gonna compare this, I just left them over there. So that kind of sucks. But actually, can you reach that down there? Where if I was gonna compare the Wade 808 shoe with something similar like the Series Player Only Player One Plus, this is the sample, by the way, so this is not what the regular pair looks like or the retail pair. You can check that out in our previous video. But this guy right here has a carbon fiber shank as well, but it's a full-on plate. So it goes from about here to here, and you can't like bend this. I can't bend this even if I tried. That's the one thing where it's just like, I think that could have been way better, especially if you're touting it as ultra. You've got to do more than whatever this little tiny disc of carbon fiber is. You got to put it full length from side to side, meaning that way you have full on torsional support. Now the cushioning in both models I think is just kind of where these guys shine, not just these but the previous models or iterations as well, where you have options. You have options for drop-ins and everything, which I think is fantastic. So the Ultra is this full boom midsole. This thing is really cool. It's very dense. It's going to be long lasting, which is awesome. However, because it's caged inside of this shell of a shoe, and with it being as dense as it is, when you put all your pressure on there, the material wants to expand a little bit, but it can't because it's caged inside of a sneaker and everything, instead of being a full exposed midsole like the All Cities, was it the 11s, where there was a wrap on the midsole, but then it was open on one side. So kind of like Boost, where it allows it to move a little bit so you can actually feel the cushioning underneath your foot. And again, that's where these ones lack, where you can't really feel much of anything. It kind of feels dead underfoot. It does feel very lightweight, especially compared to something like this, even though they both feel very light. So I think that this is cool. Could have been a little bit better had it been not a drop-in, but it's still a great option to have nonetheless, because when you, or if you happen to buy both pairs, just kind of see what each of them are like. Maybe you're gonna like this midsole more than the other one, but maybe you like that shoe more than the Ultra, so you can actually put it in there and you're good to go. One of the cool parts about this midsole though is actually this little plate that they added. I find this odd when you have carbon fiber, but then you also added an additional plate underneath there. So it's like, why didn't you just add the fiber to the midsole? But what this guy actually does do, it gives you a little bit more of a spring. So it's supposed to give you a little bit more of a pop when you're on your forefoot and really push you into your stride. So while I do feel that the other shoe is just a little bit better, I do think that this midsole is worthy of at least checking out. The downside is that you got to spend 150 bucks or so to do that. And that's the part where it's like, I understand if you don't want to try it, because I probably wouldn't either. Now the upper on both of these shoes are fairly similar. The Ultra just feels a little bit more durable, but only in the sense that they added more of the plastic on the textile. So I actually don't love how that feels, but it will be a little bit more durable long term. However, the regular version is kind of more textile based. It's got less plastic on top of it. So you still kind of get the same ventilation and breathability in both models. It's just that one is literally like, you could feel it, it's like coated in this plastic. Whereas this one right here just feels more like fabric. There's still plenty of TPU all over the shoe, especially in the high wear areas and the stress zones. So that's always a plus. But this one just in my hand feels a little bit better. On foot, they feel almost the same. So there's not going to be much of a difference in terms of playability. It's just kind of what you prefer as far as a customer goes. Now this guy right here is the Ultra 3, just the regular version. This guy right here just feels incredible, dude. Like the only thing that I would say to watch out for is just this little forefoot kind of pod, is that it doesn't move in the same way as the rest of the outsole because the pattern's different. It's a little thicker or chunkier there. So you might need to break that in on an indoor court. But on an outdoor court, you take these outside, bro, I promise you, this is going to be dope. Now, aside from the traction as well as the materials used on the upper, the main key difference, which I think is the biggest difference, is actually this bad boy right here. This is their drop-in midsole for this thing. This is cloud foam. It's full length. And not only is it cloud foam, which usually isn't my favorite thing from Li-Ning, but it's getting better and better every time I try it. But look at the bottom of this thing, bro. Like, look at this. Not only is this cloud foam carrier and it's comfortable underfoot, surprisingly, but they actually have a boom pad at the forefoot. So you get what this shoe offers, but just not all the way. And you get it basically where you need it most, which is in that forefoot area. You want that spring or explosiveness underneath the balls of your feet, especially if you're a super athlete, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, they actually did do what I said that they should have done with this one, where the torsion plate is built into this thing. And that's a hard plate. Like, this is harder than this thing's little carbon piece. This should have been in this. So it's just like really weird that while this is supposed to be their best cushioning system, this one feels better. It just does, at least to me. Now, as far as sizing is concerned, on both of these guys, they fit just like the previous models, in my opinion. So I would go true to size. Just know that they taper down basically the way that they look, like how they thin out like a lot right at the toe. So that's exactly how they do fit. I do like that. I think it's the best thing for your feet while doing performance performance stuff, AKA playing your sport, not a good fit for casual use. So if you're, for whatever reason, buying these for casual, I personally wouldn't do that at all. But if you were adamant on doing that, you might want to go up half a size. Even though there's plenty of room in there, it's just that it's so slim right there that you could definitely feel it like squeeze your feet. But with all that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the support. We will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, have a good one.